Hello, you are listening to Disney Travel Tales, episode number 46. This is a space where you can escape the real world and immerse yourself in someone's recent Disney trip. I'm Jenny, and today's show is all about Universal Studios in Florida. Josh and his family ended their Florida vacation at Universal Studios. This is the first time I've ever done a Universal episode, so I hope you enjoy it. Also, Josh's two boys join him at the end of this show, so be ready for some little voices. I love when kids join and give their perspectives on the trip. Walt Disney World has released their 2023 vacation packages through October 31st. If you're interested in traveling to Disney next year, or if you have questions about Disney trips, email me at jenny@trolleylanetravel.com, and I would love to talk Disney with you. Traveling to Disney can feel overwhelming, and that's why I'm here to help you. All of my services are free to you, so let's make next year the year you go to Disney, not just talk about going. If you're on Instagram, you can find us at Disney Travel Tales. This is a great way to connect and just stay up to date with what's going on with the show and to see pictures from our guests on their trips. Okay, so let's get going. Imagine yourself walking into Diagon Alley at Universal Studios for the first time, and let's go. So today I'm here with Josh, and this time we are talking about his Universal Studios portion of his vacation. How are you, Josh?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Good. So what is your experience with Universal vacations?
It's the same kind of deal as Disney. My wife and my kids have never been. We had a separate trip when I was young. So I was about 18 when we went to Universal around 2004, I believe. And again, like the parks have changed so much since then. Universal felt kind of the same, except all the rides have kind of changed. But and same with Islands of Adventure. When we were there, it was just pretty much the Jurassic and the Harry Potter stuff was all new.
Okay, so let's just dive right into your trip. Y'all had been at Disney for 7 days, and then your last day at Disney, y'all went ahead and did a transfer over to Universal, and that was Monday, May 16th, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what did y'all do when y'all got over to Universal? What was y'all's first thing y'all did?
We had set up through Universal like a two-part transport. So they had somebody come pick us up from our resort at Art of Animation. So that was about 5:45 when we arrived to the hotel. Got checked in. We were again on the first floor in Tower 2 of Dockside. So the location, it was like the same as Art of Animation, yet this hotel was like so much louder and busier. So when we were at Art of Animation, we never really heard anything while we were in our rooms, but with the room here being on the first floor, you just had so much more traffic going through, so it was kind of loud. But we got checked in. The first impression of the lobby was that it, seemed pretty busy for it being around the dinner time on a weekday. There's a lot of sitting area. Check-in was easy. We just provided our ID and then was printed room key cards. They didn't have any luggage racks available, so we had to drag our 4 suitcases, our stroller, and boxes to our room.
Oh, geez.
So we did get the 1-bedroom family suite. Those were about $120 a night, so it's way cheaper, which was nice. So it was kind of similar to the Art of Animation suites, although we didn't have a second bathroom. But we did have the separated bedroom area and a little kitchen area with a table and everything. But the rooms itself, I think these are pretty brand new, or not brand new, but they're most recent hotels that they've built. And the room was very bright and felt like a breath of fresh air, really. It was just so clean and updated and everything in there. Charging ports and everything all over the place. So if you had tons of devices, that was nice. Um, it was kind of weird. Like you have to keep your room key inserted into a slot next to the door to be able to work the lights and everything in there. So I guess it, it's just to save power, I guess.
That's so interesting. I've never heard that.
Yeah, it took us a minute to figure that out because when we went in, like we were trying to turn on the lights and nothing was coming on, and it took a few minutes to figure out what we had to do.
That's so crazy. Huh.
But yeah, once we got checked in and everything, I was still not really feeling well. Still having issues with sinuses and everything, and just we were all exhausted. Like we initially planned to just go swimming and hang out and everything, but we all kind of just zoned out on our beds, watched TV, ordered some pizza, and went to bed. So not too exciting for our first day there, but
Sometimes that's just much needed, that just chill break.
yeah.
Okay,
So yeah,
so
that was it for our arrival day.
yeah, so what'd y'all do the next morning?
The next morning, this was really planned to be a rest day because when we had added the extra tickets to Disney, we were just going to drop a ticket for Universal and have our rest day today. But I guess like the package deal or whatever was cheaper to just keep the 3 days on it than to drop down to two. So we still kind of planned it to be mostly a rest day, but we figured since we did have a park ticket for this day, we would head over and just kind of look around, do our gift shopping and pictures and stuff, and just kind of check out the place. That way, because we didn't want to like the next day after this, we had planned to be our big Harry Potter day. And I knew like Hagrid's was one of the rides that you have to like rope drop if you don't want to wait over an hour for. So it's like we're the kind of people that if it's our first time somewhere, I don't want to race through the park to get to a ride and like miss out on everything because we would want to stop for pictures. So we figured we'd use this day to just kind of check it out so that we could feel like we could do that in the next morning. So we slept in till about 8:30 and kind of sorted through our laundry and everything that we didn't do the night before because we were all so tired. Um, so we went over to the Pier 8 market at the hotel for breakfast, which really resembles like a hospital food court. Just tons of options for breakfast between just pastries and bagels to big meals to pancakes, waffles, breakfast sandwiches, breakfast burritos, breakfast pizza, like all kinds of stuff. Um, so we ended up spending about $60 for breakfast for the four of us. Um, so we were there at like 9:15, well after the parks were opened, but yet it was still very busy inside. Um, the hotel also has a Starbucks, a bar, and a gift shop all in the lobby area. So after we ate, we went over and um, went to the separate counter to print our park tickets and our express passes and the ticket for our photo package. Um, so we did end up having the two park to park 3 day tickets. On our second day, we had the standard express pass where you can use it once per ride. And then our last day had the unlimited express passes. Um, we went over looking at the, I guess you'd call it deluxe category resorts there that come with the express passes, but it was still cheaper for us to do the dockside and add on the 2 days rather than going there. Um, so after we got through everything, so it was kind of weird. Like it was nice at Disney having the magic bands and everything. Everything was electronic, but here, like you have to have printed tickets, and we like carried them on a little clear pouch on lanyards. So it was like felt like a step back
Yeah.
in the technology and everything there. So I don't know if they're working on something to compete with Disney there, but it felt kind of outdated the way they had to do everything and
Hmm.
have to carry around this paper ticket to scan. Um, the gift shop there we checked out. like a quarter of it was all Harry Potter merch, another quarter of it was all like specific hotel merch, and then just a small kind of collection of everything else. Um, but they were running a special. If you buy a $300 gift card, you would get a free wand.
Oh, that's
And
cool.
so we figured, yeah, we're gonna probably spend at least $300. So we went ahead and did that. They had four wands to choose from for your free one. They had like two Death Eater wands, Ginny Weasley and Professor Slughorn. And that was, I guess, that's the only way to get the Professor Slughorn one because they don't sell them in the place.
Oh, that's
And but
interesting.
they told us though the Slughorn one is like a very like brittle and like sharp tipped wand,
Hmm.
and we figured we'd just give this free wand to our youngest son. So we went with the Ginny Weasley one, and so he got to have that one. Um, because the free ones aren't the interactive ones that you can do the spells and stuff at the park.
Okay,
So
yeah. Which he
um,
probably didn't even know the difference, did he?
yeah, that's why we're like, well, we'll give this one to the 3-year-old.
Yeah, that's a good move.
So yeah, it wasn't until about 11:30 before we headed for the bus stop at the resort, which is just right outside the lobby. And they say they run them about every 10 to 15 minutes, which seemed to be true throughout our time. We never really had to wait for a bus to show up, except for like the one morning doing rope drop. Like the line was pretty full, so we did have to wait for a second bus, but it was already sitting behind that one ready to go. So we had no troubles with the transportation. So I think like they have the surf side and the dock side on the same bus schedule. So they'll stop at Surfside first, then Dockside. So when you're going to the park, you get on and then they go straight to the park. But when you're coming back, they'll stop at Surfside first. But the hotels are right across the street from each other, so it wasn't bad.
Okay.
Um, so we took the bus over to Universal. It was like a 10-minute bus ride, and then they drop you off across the highway from it, and you go up into like their security area or where you can buy park tickets and everything. And so going through security felt a little easier than at Disney because they had besides just the X-ray machines, they had the X-ray machines for your backpacks and everything else. So you could just run it through there, so they wouldn't have to like pull you aside and have you empty out your bags to search through everything unless they found something on the machines that would cause them to. So it was a little quicker going through security. You walk across the bridge over the highway into City Walk, and so from there we just kind of checked out City Walk for a good while, and we ended up getting lunch at Cowfish because Marissa and Tristan are both really into sushi. Um, so they really enjoyed this place. Marissa had ordered a golden dragon, which was hamachi, coconut shrimp, sushi mayo, scallions, and topped with eel avocado, tobiko, and eel sauce. So all of that is foreign to me, but
That
I guess
sounds
if you
so
like
good.
sushi, she said she loved it. Tristan got the shrimp tempura roll, and he devoured that. And then Dylan got PB&J rolls, so it's just like peanut butter and jelly rolled up, looking like sushi.
Oh, that's
So that was
awesome.
fun. And then I got a Texas Longhorn burger. It's like, nah, not for me.
Yeah. Hey, at least I had something that
Uh,
you would like.
yeah, so it's mostly sushi and burgers, and I guess they also have sushi in burgers. So
Oh, that's so interesting.
yeah, it was a really kind of cool place, and it wasn't too busy. Being kind of at the time we were there, it was about 1 o'clock, so most of the lunch crowd was gone by then. Um, So after that, we headed towards Islands of Adventure and got the photo pass set up. From there, we just headed towards Dr. Seuss Land. We hopped on to Cat in the Hat since there was no wait on that. Um, Dylan was kind of, I'd almost say like scared of it. He didn't seem scared, but he was like not enjoying it either.
Hmm.
I mean, for us, it was just like, well, it's a slow ride and in the AC.
Yeah.
Um, So we were still heading back towards Harry Potter Land and stopped in at Poseidon's Fury. It was a 25-minute wait. Um, I thought it was definitely a good show to do while not having the express pass for the day.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so like I felt like I had done that before, and after going through it, it's like, yeah, I think we did this when we were here earlier, but I think they changed the show up a little bit.
Yeah,
But it
probably.
was fun. Dylan did get scared a little bit through it, but afterwards said he liked it, and Tristan thought it was good. So then we continued heading towards Hogsmeade, looking around, and wanted to see what path that we would have to take to get to the motorbike. Um, the Hogsmeade area and the castle looked amazing. We didn't really explore it too much. We just kind of popped our heads in and looked around real quick. Because we really, just wanted to dive into it the next day. So we continued walking back through the other side of the park, through the Jurassic World area. And this whole area was a lot bigger than I thought it would be. And there was like way more stuff than I thought there would be for it. So, because just looking at the map, it didn't seem like much. It was just like, okay, they've got a roller coaster and a few things. But it really was pretty expansive for the Jurassic World area. Spent some time in the Discovery Center sitting in the AC while the boys ran around and played on the dinosaurs and checked out all that there was in there. So that was a nice little rest spot. Continued walking through Toon Lagoon, and we figured for our last day we would probably just go with a change of swimming clothes so that we could do all the water rides.
Mm-hmm.
I guess that's one thing like Disney doesn't really have is the water rides, and I'm not big on water rides. I don't like getting wet in my clothes, but if I come in my swimming clothes, I'm fine, and the kind of the same way for the rest of them. So we figured we'd just bring a change of clothes, and because they had quite a few there.
That's a really good
Well,
plan.
yeah, yeah, we had fun on them when we got to that. So we walked through the Marvel Island. We were excited to dive into that area later as well. We're all Marvel fans and everything. And it's nice, like, that they have, like, kind of the classic Marvel stuff,
Mm-hmm.
more comic based than the MCU. So, while having the MCU stuff would be fun, it was also, like, different, you don't see that kind of stuff as much anymore. Um, so Marissa's foot was still really hurting, and we were still pretty exhausted. So that was pretty much it for the parks that day. Um, so from there we headed over to Toothsome Chocolate Emporium. We had a 5:15 dinner reservation. This place was really cool. It was like decorated in steampunk style. A lot of the menu items, foods like infused with like chocolate somehow. Um, so dinner was really good. Then we got to dessert, and I felt like Marissa had died and gone to heaven in there. um, you walk in and they've got cases up front with chocolates and macarons and everything. So she immediately started ordering chocolates and headed back for the macarons and everything after dinner. Dylan had ordered a mini cheeseburger. Tristan had got shrimp mac and cheese. I got a New York strip, and Marissa had got a short rib flatbread with Brussels sprouts. While we were eating, they had like two characters come around to the tables. I don't remember like what their names were, but they had a really cool interaction with the boys there, and they spent a good like 10 minutes talking and hanging out at the table before moving on. So that was a nice interaction with them. So when we got to the desserts, which is kind of their specialty here, Marissa ordered a brownie and peanut butter sauce milkshake, and that came with like a giant brownie slice, like stuck through the straw, sitting on top of the shake. And that brownie was really good. I got a cookie jar shake. Um, so that came with like a whole chocolate chip cookie on top and pieces of oatmeal raisin and other cookie bits all in it. It was really good. They come in like a mason jar with their logo on it that you get to keep and take home. So that was cool. Um, and then the boys got a s'mores sundae to share, and this thing was huge. Like I remember seeing pictures of the kitchen sink at Beaches and Cream, which is
Uh-huh.
somewhere we wanted to go but didn't get a chance. This thing had to have been close to the size of that. It was
Oh my
gigantic.
gosh.
So I was glad that like we got it to share because we did not know it was going to be that big.
Yes.
And this entire meal and restaurant experience was great, and felt like it was a lot better than Be Our Guest and a lot worth the money there compared to it. We all ate our food, almost finished off that Sunday between the two of them.
That's
So
impressive.
uh, yeah. So after that, we headed back around 7 to the bus stop to go back to our room, did some more laundry, and called it a day for our first day.
That sounds like a great first day though, because you weren't pressured to run and do the ride. You just kind of got to get a feel of the park.
Yeah, I was really trying to recover some of our energy that day because having a shorter time at Universal, we knew like the rest of our time was going to be hitting it hard or as hard as possible.
Yeah.
Because I mean, they have a lot more than I thought really to do there. And now I would suggest, 3 days would be a good amount for trying to do everything at those parks if you've got the full energy to do 3 days. But
Hmm.
when you're tired and after such a long trip, like it was quite the task to try to get through a lot in those 2 days. Yeah, this was such a long trip because, we kind of figured this was going to be our once in a lifetime kind of trip and wanted to try to get to experience everything.
Right.
Um, in hindsight now, maybe I would have shortened it or given us extra park days or just done one of the parks, but
Hmm.
we still had fun.
Yes. Okay, so let's talk about your next park day.
All right, so this was Wednesday the 18th, again with the limited express passes this day. So the weather was continually still getting hotter each day that we were there. I want to say temperatures were in the upper 90s this day. Um, I don't think there was a single cloud in the sky to help give any kind of shade.
Hmm.
Um, so we woke up at 10 after 6, had breakfast in the room and left at 7. 5 minutes later on the bus, made it to the entrance gates at 7:30. The park opened for early entry at 8 o'clock. Um, so I was, expecting kind of like Disney where they let people into the park earlier than the time they say it was open and maybe just hold you off at the different spots, but they held everybody up at the entrance gates. And there was a decent amount of people already there when we got there at 7:30. So we had to stand around and wait to get let in. But they did still end up opening it up about 7:45, 7:50-ish, a few minutes earlier than 8. Um, and so it's like as soon as people get in, you could just see everybody like taking off, like running. It's like, wow, I guess they don't they don't stop people from running here.
Yeah.
And so we as soon as we got in, we went over and rented an ECV for Marissa. So that took a little bit of time to get that set up and everything. Um, once we got that, we tried to go as quickly as possible to get in line for Hagrid's. We got in line about 8:10 and told it was down when we got there for an unknown amount of time, and kind of heard other people talking that they seem to do this almost every day. Like they'll wait until a certain time before they'll start letting people in because
Hmm.
they usually do extra tests and everything in the mornings. So we decided we'd wait it out. The start of the line was all the way back in the Lost Continent area. And after about 10 minutes, the start line started moving pretty quickly, so we figured at that point they were just opening up the ride and letting people fill into the queue area. So we just kept walking pretty much the whole way. It was about half an hour from the time we got in line to the time we were walking before we actually stopped in the ride queue. So it was like, a lot of the wait that we had that morning was just walking to fill in the queue.
Mm-hmm.
So that queue was very well decorated, lots to look at. You had the hut and things to look at, but unfortunately, since we were kind of walking through it, we weren't trying to take too much time to stop and take pictures because we didn't want to hold people up.
This ride you can't use Express Pass on, right?
Yeah, this and Velocicoaster still, you weren't allowed to use Express Passes on, so that's another reason why we wanted to do it rope drop.
Yeah.
So we used the parent swap on this. So that was the first time using this at this park, and Marissa and I agreed that the whole parent swap program we felt was a lot better at Universal. So here, like, the entire family will wait in the line, and once you get up to the station, they'll pull one of the adults and the kid that can't ride into like a family room off of the side into the station, and then they'll give like the riding parent a ticket to hold on to. And so once the first group rides and gets off, they immediately can go over to this family room and swap, and they'll get right back on. So it was really nice, like, that we wouldn't have to like wait outside in the sun somewhere for them to ride and come back. And it was a lot more time efficient too, to be able to wait in line and just like be right there by where you get on and off the ride to just swap right there instead of having to like go through the line twice, basically.
Yeah.
I thought that was a lot more efficient.
Yeah, I think because Universal has more thrill rides, they kind of had to get a better program because Disney doesn't actually have a lot of thrill rides compared to Universal. Like, their whole park kind of is rides that little kids might not want to ride.
Hey, parents, do your kids listen to podcasts? Do they like solving mysteries and flexing their imaginations? Mysteries at Riddleton Elementary is a new children's mystery podcast. Your kid can join Billy Bonanza and Susie Sockington on exciting and wacky adventures as they attempt to solve mysteries around their school. Mysteries at Riddleton Elementary is available now on all podcast platforms.
Yeah, I can definitely see that. It was just kind of nice, like, that they had these like family rooms set up, and this was on a lot of the rides. Like, would have a separate room for them, and there was like a TV and changing table and everything in there if you needed it. So
yeah, I agree. That's really nice.
So Tristan and I got to ride this first, and then swapped with Marissa, and oh my god, this ride was amazing. Like. It was really smooth. A lot of unexpected things. Again, I was trying not to get like spoilers and stuff on things so I could experience it for the first time. So Tristan and I happened to get the front row, and we agreed that he would ride in the sidecar because Marissa would ride in the sidecar when he got, so he'd get to experience it in both seats. So yeah, it was a lot of fun. Swapped, and Marissa and Tristan again got to happen to get the front row, so
that's that awesome.
Cool. Yeah. So I think we all kind of agreed, like, so far out of the trip, this was everyone's favorite ride. Later after getting home, Tristan kind of went back to the Rock and Roller Coaster as his favorite, but I think for me this was my favorite ride out of our entire vacation. So after that, we hopped on the Hogwarts Express over to Diagon Alley and stepped out. Like, the station puts you out into Universal Studios, and so we saw the night bus there, took some pictures, the Grim Old Place buildings, and you got Creature that kind of pops open through the window every so often. But then it actually took a few minutes to figure out how to get into Diagon Alley from there because it's kind of hidden from the Muggle world.
Uh-huh.
Which makes sense that they did that. It kind of plays true to the story and everything. It just took seeing a bunch of people heading through this spot to figure out that's how you get back there because
Right.
it's like behind like two different walls. um, so we got some breakfast food at the Leaky Cauldron at about 10:30. They had really good breakfast food, especially the potato slices. And so this was our first time getting the butter beer and also got a pumpkin juice. Um, the butter beer was really good. I don't know, like we just got the regular cold one and we thought it was pretty good. I don't know if like just every spot like the mixture is a little bit different, but this one didn't taste sweet at all.
Mm-hmm.
And then the pumpkin juice was okay. Like I kind of liked it, but it really just kind of tasted like you were drinking a liquid pumpkin pie.
Oh, that's interesting.
Um, it had like too much pumpkin spice in it though.
Mm-hmm.
After eating, we walked around outside, taking everything in, and taking at least probably 100 pictures of Diagon Alley. Um, we got in line and waited for the Ollivanders experience. Waited about 20 minutes for that. They pull a group of about 20 people in at a time. Um, and like the room looked exactly like Ollivanders in the movie. Um, so the witch in there started off saying she could feel strong magic in the room, and then came over to Dylan, who was holding his wand that he had already got, and exclaimed that he must have been who she felt because his wand had already chosen him. So she would assist another one.
That's
And
cute.
then yeah. So she pulled another girl out of the group up to the desk and pulled out a wand from the shelf and told us what kind of wood type and length and flexibility and all that was. Handed it to the girl, asked her to give her a wave. So she does so, and like all the lights in the room started flashing and making it feel like it started to rain. Uh, so she waves her wands and clears out the storm, then repeats it with another one with another mishap, and gives her a third one, and that's when it was like the lights kind of glowed in the room, just like in the movie when Harry got his,
Mm-hmm.
and exclaims that the wand has chosen her and everything. So it was really fun, really nice little experience. It like kind of ended a little differently than I thought. I thought maybe they would pull multiple people out to do the experience, but I get it. Like you got lines and everything, so you can't do it
Mm-hmm.
to everyone. Um, so it wasn't quite as personal as I thought it would be, but it was still we were very happy that we got to do that.
Mm-hmm.
So once it's over, you're led into the Ollivander store where you can purchase the character wands, or they had about 13 different non-character wands that could choose us, quote unquote. Um, so they had like the different wood types and everything. And then on the walls, they had each type of wand and gave like a personality description or whatever, so that you could try to match your personality to which wand you should get. Um, so I would suggest Ollivander's is like extremely packed, and it's a very small store. Um, Especially the one in Diagon Alley, which I feel like is because most people want to do it the proper way, getting it from
Right.
Ollivander's at Diagon Alley. So if you're not too interested in doing the generic wands getting chosen by, I would suggest doing the Ollivander's in Hogsmeade, or they have Gregorovich's, and they also have like wand carts, and you can get them at the Universal Gift Shop. So if you just want to get the character ones, I would suggest going there, and it's not quite as busy in those places.
Mm-hmm.
Um, because we really were just squeezing through people, and like every little like shelf and stuff, you're waiting for like 20 people to be able to just see what they have on that shelf,
Oh, yeah.
and just doing that over and over again. So it took a while to kind of choose what we got. So after getting our wands, we began wandering around, testing out the spells on and all the windows and everything. That was a lot of fun. We went over to Borgin and Burke's over in Nocturne Alley and checked out Nocturne Alley. Got some ice cream from Foria and Fortescue's, and just the level of details everywhere in this area were amazing. And it was like I just never wanted to leave. Like I just wanted to stay in there forever.
Yes, Diagon Alley is so cool, especially for a big Harry Potter fan. Like when we went, we felt the same way. We could have just stayed there and not even
Yeah,
done the rest of Universal.
yeah, yeah. It was awesome in there. So yeah, this day too, again, it was our Harry Potter day. We all wore matching shirts. So they all had the same designs on them, although they were all the different colors because funny enough, our family, all four of us identify with different houses.
Oh, that's great.
So my wife is a Ravenclaw, so she had a blue shirt on with the Ravenclaw crest on it. Tristan is a Slytherin, so he had his green shirt and Slytherin shirt on. I am a Huffledore or a Griffin Puff, but mostly a Hufflepuff, so I had my yellow shirt on. And we think Dylan's definitely going to end up being a Gryffindor once he's old enough to kind of do his little test on there. So he had the red shirt, so it figured it would make it nice, and we'd all have a different different houses.
That's so fun.
Yeah, and while none of us got the robes, Tristan did get himself a really nice Slytherin sweater there, so it was really nice sweater. We then rode Escape from Gringotts. Time was posted 40 minutes. We waited about 25 in the express lane. While I say like I think the parent swap program was a little better at Universal. Throughout our experience at Universal Studios, I feel like the Lightning Lane versus Express Pass, the Lightning Lanes are much better at Disney. Again, you don't have to keep a little paper ticket to scan. And I felt like, when you get in the Lightning Lanes at Disney, like they move them pretty fast, and you can tell that they prioritize the Lightning Lanes when filling in rides. But here I felt like they didn't really prioritize express lanes. While the lines were a little shorter than the standby lines, we would see every single time like they would grab like 50-50 from both lines for each train, or they'd alternate back and forth between which line they were filling up the trains with. And they didn't seem to prioritize express pass people. And, depending on the ride and how many fill in the seats and everything, it almost didn't seem worth the money for the express pass on certain rides.
That's really interesting.
That's my note on it. Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't heard a comparison between the two, and yeah, that's really interesting to hear. I wonder, because we didn't use Express Pass when we went, but I wondered if the Express Pass was worth it, because it is expensive.
Yeah, they're very expensive here. So, hearing a lot of the complaints about the $15 for Genie Plus per person per day. Yeah, like for something that used to be free, I can understand that. But compared to the price of the Express Pass at Universal, and even like Cedar Point, we never get Express Passes when we go there because they're like the same prices as Universal. You're spending at least $200 a day on them. Yep. And so it's a lot to come up with. And so when you're spending that much money on an Express Pass, you want to feel like you're getting your money's worth out of it.
Absolutely.
So the Escape from Gringotts, again, like the queue was really nice. Getting to walk through like the lobby of the bank and everything, you feel like you're walking into the movie set. Like, yeah, it just felt exactly like the scenes in the movie. And Universal did great with like their queue lines, especially with Harry Potter stuff. It was so much to look at and everything. And again, like having so much to look at, being inside an AC, like when you are waiting in lines, they don't seem that time passes better when you've got so much to explore and everything while you're waiting.
For sure.
The ride itself, like we actually weren't too thrilled with it. It wasn't as good as we thought it would be. Again, though, not really knowing what to expect out of it, other than thinking you're riding on the little like mine cart through the vaults and the dungeons and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so yeah, again, like we weren't too thrilled with this ride. After we finished it, we finished up everything in Diagon Alley, and then rode the Hogwarts Express back over to Hogsmeade. So we got to ride it going both directions. Um, Definitely like the ride experience going from King's Cross to Hogsmeade, I thought was better than the other way around.
Mm-hmm.
Because like the ride going back wasn't as involved as the one going in.
Mm-hmm.
So again, we did some more pictures, explored all the shops. Like we both spots for Harry Potter. I think we walked into every single place, even if they all sell like a lot of the same things. It's just like we got to go into every spot we can. So
Yes.
we really like dived into everything. Then that's when we finally had gotten some of the frozen butter beers, and we got two of them, and between the four of us, that barely lasted 2 minutes. Like we drank those down so fast. And they were a little bit sweeter this time, but we definitely preferred the frozen ones over the cold ones.
Mm-hmm.
So those are really good. So that's when we hopped in line for Harry Potter and the Forbidden Journey, and we had thought that maybe this ride wouldn't be as good either because the wait times were generally posted around 25 minutes, while Escape from Gringotts was usually at least 40.
Mm-hmm.
So it seemed like this ride always had lower wait times than the rest of everything, so we weren't expecting much from it. Oh man, were we wrong though. Like, so Marissa and Tristan rode it first, and I watched, because from the parent swap room, you can see like where you get on and off the ride, and I saw both of them just had their jaws dropped, and then they come running over to us and like, this was amazing.
That's so cool.
So, so then I got to ride it again, and I loved it. Like when I rode with Flight of Passage, it took a little bit in the beginning to kind of get into the vibe of it and feeling like I was flying, but with this, like, I immediately got into it, and it really did feel like I was flying around on a broomstick, and it was so much fun. Like, I think also too, because I'm such a bigger Harry Potter fan, is why I could really get into it so much. And the queue line for this is the best queue line I've ever seen too. Like, you're walking through Hogwarts Castle, you're walking into Dumbledore's office, you're walking through the Dark Arts classroom, the Gryffindor common room, and just there's so much, like all the talking pictures and everything. And I didn't know too, like they had recorded, the actors for the rides too, so they all have like little spots that they're talking and everything. So it was just completely unexpected, like hands down. It was tough to decide between this and Hagrid's Motorbike, which was my favorite because I really loved this ride. So after we finished the castle, we went over and did Flight of the Hippogriff because I felt so bad that Dylan has yet to have rode anything this day.
Could he not ride the Gringotts ride?
No.
Okay.
Or did he? No, he couldn't.
Okay.
It's hard to remember when he gets to wait in line with us for a change.
Yes.
So this was another ride where I felt like the Express Pass was completely useless. It was just as long as the regular line. They only had one train going, and they weren't pulling like any extra people from Express at all. Like, and most of the queue was in the sun too. Like, there's not as much to look at for this ride. It's, one of the kids' rides. Like I said, when the Express line is the same length as the regular line, and this was one where they would fill up a train with everyone from one line, and then the next one they'd fill it up with everyone from the other. So they just kept going back and forth. So there was no prioritizing anything on this.
That's so frustrating.
So even in the Express, we waited about 40 minutes for Flight of the Hippogriff. So it was rough.
And especially for that ride.
Yeah. I mean, Dylan loved it, so, it was for him, but the rest of us were, eh.
Yeah.
Getting pretty hot here, standing in the sun in this line for this little kids ride. But
Yes, especially after you rode like the good rides. You're like, wait, what? But at least he liked it.
yeah,
Sometimes you got to take one for the team.
a little bit longer than Barnstormer, but Dylan loved it. After Flight of Hippogriff, we finished everything we wanted to do with Harry Potter, and we were just pooped for the day. It was very hot and miserable. We were worn out. So we walked through Jurassic, Toon Lagoon, and Marvel again without stopping anywhere. We ate dinner at Bubba Gump Shrimp and City Walk. This was something that Marissa and I really looked forward to because we had it once before in Chicago on the Navy Pier on our first trip that we had when we were dating. And so it was like, a fond memory of one of our first trips together. And we really enjoyed that dinner there. So we wanted to hit up this again here. We enjoyed the meal, although it wasn't like as spectacular as I remembered the food being. Again, I think it's just kind of the limited menus and everything.
Yeah.
But that place is huge inside too, if you've ever been in there.
Very big.
Yeah. It's like you need signs up on the ceilings to direct you how to get to the bathrooms because the place is so big.
Right. Yeah.
So after that, we got some ice cream at Cold Stone. We love that place too. We used to have one nearby our house, but it closed down, so we haven't had a Cold Stone in a long time. Headed back to the room. We had started planning to swim that night, but right as we got back, it started to rain and thunder. So we had good timing there. We got back to the resort just as it started. So kids were sad that they didn't get to go swimming. Did another load of laundry. My least favorite part of doing vacations is having a mountain of laundry to do when I get home. So I was keeping up with it throughout the trip and having such a long trip too. Like we only packed for 7 days worth of clothes, though we were there for 14 days. So it was like just had to keep up with that.
Yeah.
Watched some TV and went to bed. So that was our day for Wednesday.
That sounds like a great day. So much fun. And I love all the Harry Potter stuff. It's just absolutely amazing.
Yeah. So I think my son wanted to join in and talk.
Oh, yeah, that'd be great.
A little bit. All right, let me go get him.
Okay, sounds great.
I'm going into Disney.
You went to Disney? Was it fun?
Yeah.
Oh, that's so cool. Did you get to meet Mickey Mouse?
You what?
I wasn't riding.
You was riding?
Oh, okay.
What was your favorite ride?
Spin. Circle ride.
The circle ride? I thought it was like...
Go dash.
Oh, that's so cool.
I like that ride.
Oh, that's so cool.
All right, sit down.
I got a lightsaber.
So our last day was Thursday, May 19th, and this is when we had our unlimited express passes. We woke up at 6:45. We tried letting everyone sleep in just a little bit this morning. Got dressed. We just straight put our swim clothes onto the park and brought a change of clothes with us and sandals because it was supposed to be really hot and we really wanted to do the water ride. We went to the lobby for breakfast and took the bus to Universal. We arrived at 8:30, and then during early entry hours, all 3 days was just for our Islands of Adventure, and the only things that they had open for early entry were the Harry Potter rides and Velocicoaster. So we all went to Harry Potter and the Forbidden Journey again, since we loved that one so much. We knew, like, because all we had done so far was Harry Potter, so we wanted to cram in, like, basically all of the rest of the two parks this day. So unfortunately, we didn't get to ride Hagrid's again. Just knew that the wait time was going to be too long and take up too much time. So we loved that Forbidden Journey ride so much. We did do that one again. So after that, we ended up splitting off. So Tristan stayed with me for most of the rest of the day and Dylan with Marissa, because Marissa was just completely whooped out at this point and just had real no desire to hit up any more rides and just wanted to kind of relax.
Yeah.
So, and with Universal, there isn't really much of anything for little kids to do.
Mm-hmm.
So, Dylan wanted to ride the Flight of Hippogriff ride again, so Marissa took him over there, and Tristan and I headed over to the Velocicoaster.
It was pretty good.
So you want to tell them about Velocicoaster?
Yes, I'm so excited to hear about it.
It was really cool and like really fast, but we kind of waited a while since I think we were in single rider.
Yeah, the posted wait time was 45 minutes, and so we thought we'd try out the single rider line to get through quicker.
Mm-hmm.
I would advise against doing single rider for Velocicoaster. We ended up waiting just as long, if not longer, on single rider line because they're trains of 2. So I think anything that's like seats of 2 kind of fill up a lot easier than like seats of 4 and everything. They don't have as many seats to fill in.
Daddy,
Right.
Still on.
So after we rode Velocicoaster, yeah, I really liked that ride too. That was more like the style of roller coasters that I'm used to.
Uh-huh.
And even for me, like it was a huge adrenaline rush. And they have like one part where like they flip you upside down and keep you upside down for a good like 3 or 4 seconds. And just the twists and turns and hills and everything on this ride was a lot of fun.
I loved how like you could go into and out of the rocks. They're kind of like little caves, and there were like little raptors on the ground there.
Oh, that's cool.
And you could see Velocicoaster from like a long distance away.
So after Velocicoaster, got in line at 10:15 for Spider-Man using Express Pass. We waited about 15 minutes while the posted wait time was 45 minutes. So this was one of the rides that I remember being my favorite when I went earlier.
Daddy, I think
Want to tell them about Spider-Man?
I loved it. It was like
What?
Spider-Man looked like from old comics, and all the characters like Dr. Octopus like looked nothing from what I know what he looks like. And it was really cool. And the thing is like a little car, and basically when you're waiting, TV shows something that like you're in a news reporter vehicle, and when you get in, there's a thing that's all the way up, and then once everyone's in, it goes down to the side, and it's a 3D ride, and I really loved it.
That sounds awesome.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, it was just as much fun as I remembered it being when we went there before.
Yeah, that's an
So
older
cool.
ride, but it's still one of the like really popular rides, and I think it's because it has that old comic feel.
Yeah, it was nice having the Stanley cameos and stuff in it too.
Yeah,
There was 2 of them.
that's so cool.
One in like he was in a dumpster truck,
Look
and
it's super cool.
and he was saying stuff at the end of the ride too.
Yeah, that's really
Yeah.
neat.
So after that, we wanted to ride Hulk, but it was down. So we kind of popped over into the Cafe 4. That's right there. So it's like a Fantastic Four themed little diner. Just got some pizza, and right as we finished eating, the Hulk came back up. So we ran out of there and got into there for a 5-minute wait.
Oh, that's nice.
It was
Yeah.
awesome.
You like that one?
Yes. Long since Cedar Point.
Yeah, I like the launch tunnel and everything. After that, the rides,
Daddy, here you go.
it's just a roller coaster to me. There's nothing too special about it after the launch. But again, just having the theming everywhere is really cool.
Yeah.
After that, we rode the Storm Force Acceleration.
There.
That was fun. It's, your basic kind of like teacups spinning ride. Although I felt like you had a lot more control over the handle. So
What?
we were spinning super fast on that. Like to the point where I almost got sick. The spinning ride that we did after Hulk.
Oh, Storm Acceleration.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was really cool. It actually went more faster than Mad Tea Party at Disney that we did. And it was just me and him. So we spun really fast.
That's fun.
At first we were spinning the wrong way, and we saw like other people going like really fast.
Mm-hmm.
Said that we're spinning the wrong way, and then we started going really fast.
I didn't realize there's a wrong way, but yeah, I guess that probably makes sense.
I think we were spinning to the left.
Uh-huh.
If
Right?
you want to go really fast, spin clockwise.
There you go. That's a good tip.
After that, we skipped to the Doctor Doom Fearfall. And then we did a few character meets and photos with the Marvel characters were out at that time. So Tristan got a picture with Wolverine. And then just as we saw Doctor Doom and Green Goblin and went to get in line for that, I got a text from Marissa of Dylan with those. So I knew they were like nearby.
Oh, that's fun.
So I texted her, and then after we got pictures of those two, we met back up with them to get pictures of Spider-Man. He was like inside the gift shop with a green screen behind him.
Mm-hmm.
So they really love that. Like Dylan loves Spider-Man.
I do too.
That's so
Yeah.
cool.
Wearing a shirt where Spider-Man, Captain America, and I think Iron Man was on the shirt. And when I was with Wolverine, he said, "I love the hero shirt, but where's Wolverine on there?"
So after we got pictures of Spider-Man, I waited with Dylan so that Marissa could go in and ride Spider-Man with Tristan. So she really liked that as well.
She loved the dark room part because that's where like photographers do stuff. I don't really know. She's the photo person.
So up until that point, while Tristan and I had done those rides, they had gone into Dr. Seuss Landing. They rode One Fish, Two Fish, rode the High in the Sky trolley train, met with the Grinch, and then that's when they headed over to the Marvel area and ran back into us. After that point, it was time for the water ride, so we had split up again. Changed our shoes and shirts and everything, and headed over to the Dudley Do Right Ripsaw Falls.
I loved it.
This was roughly around 12:45. So he loved it. I've never been, like I said, I'm not a huge fan of water rides.
Mm-hmm.
Usually, unless I'm specifically going to a water park. So the ride did a good job of like faking me out, thinking the big drop was there. And it just ended up being like a little dip. And the large drop was a bit scary for me.
No.
I feel like it's like such a steep dive, and you don't have like seat belts or anything to hold you down. So
Yeah, that can be scary.
He thought he was gonna fall out. I was just enjoying.
See, you got pretty wet on that one. We tried to go over to Popeye and Pluto's Bilge Ray Barges. These are some fun names to try to say.
Right.
But they don't take express pass for that ride, and the wait was about 50 minutes. So we were determined to get through as much as possible. So we moved on towards the Jurassic Park River Adventure. We got in line for this at about 1:30.
I'm so sad about
With
that.
like a side note that pretty much all the roller coaster rides have free lockers to store everything in while you're on the rides, because they don't want you taking your phone, hat, nothing like on the ride. So they provide you with free lockers to store everything in, and you get a ticket to scan, and then you can hold on to that ticket and scan it at all the other lockers throughout the day. So we ended up needing 2 lockers to fit everything that we had. But then for the water rides, of course, they make you pay for them.
Yeah.
That's dumb.
So we had to pay for a locker at the water rides. We waited about 8 minutes for River Adventure. And just when it was our next turn to get onto it, like a loud alarm went off, and suddenly they started evacuating everyone from the ride.
Oh no.
And not explaining like why, just saying that there was an issue with the building. So once we came out through the exit, I tried to go back around to the entrance to get to the lockers, and they wouldn't let you in. And so, like, they still weren't explaining anything, but yet also wasn't letting me get my stuff in there. Like, my cell phone and everything was in there, so I had no choice but to kind of just stand around and wait.
Oh, no.
So, we just found a shady spot and waited about 15 minutes before someone that came over that looked like a manager came up to us and asked if we had things in the locker. So she said that it was a fire alarm that had gone off. So, for safety, they had to get everybody out of there. And that in a few minutes, they'd start taking people one at a time to get their stuff out of the lockers.
We got our money back.
Yeah, she said that, everyone that was in there, they would refund the locker that we had paid for it.
That's nice.
So it's just like, I understand their process, and why they wouldn't tell everyone. Once I found out why like they didn't want to, raise a big fuss over it.
Right.
So there's just, a good long time that we had to wait around not knowing why, and was annoyed that another water ride we weren't going to get to ride, and especially right when we were about to get on it.
Sorry about that.
Yeah. So we changed back into our shoes, and we were ready to finally head over to the Universal Studios parks, because up till now, like, other than Diagon Alley, we hadn't done any time over there.
Mm-hmm.
We were going to try to take the Hogwarts Express, but the line was pretty long, and figured it was probably quicker to just walk to the exit and then cross over to the other entrance. So as we headed through the port of entry, just happened to run into Marissa again. She was with a photographer trying to get pictures of them. So we all got pictures there by the entrance, and they walked over with us over to the Universal side and split up again. So during that time that we were doing that, they didn't really do much else. She said that they had stayed over in the Marvel area for a while and went to the Toon Lagoon, and then Dylan was playing in the splash pad over there for like 45 minutes, just having a blast.
That's fun.
And Marissa had gotten a caricature done of them, and then that's when they met back with us to head over. So as we were heading over to the other side of the park, Dylan fell asleep in his stroller. And yeah, like, the whole plan throughout the trip, again, was to take the afternoon breaks. But, like, as the days went on, they kind of fell off, or we just ended our park days. And we were going to do these for Universal as well. But I felt like the walk to get to the exit and then through City Walk back over to the bus station and everything, it was, like, such a lengthy process. And it was, too, at Disney, but you weren't walking as much of it. Like, it was just such a long walk to get back to the entrance, that we told ourselves, like, if we go back for a nap, we're not going to want to come back, like, because it just felt like, such a long process just to go back and forth. So, each day we ended up staying at the park the entire day, too.
Mm-hmm.
So we got over to Universal, and Tristan and I did the express lane for Minion Mayhem. It's just another, 3D show with, like, the moving seats and everything.
I liked it.
You liked it? I thought it was okay. It was cute.
Yeah.
We're not too big on Minions here.
I wish we could have done the Minion meet and greet breakfast. Okay.
Oh, they had a Minion meet and greet?
Yeah, they did.
Oh, that's cool.
It was on, like, a sign or something.
Okay. That would have been fun.
I spent so much research for this trip, like, on Disney, that, like, I did very minimal research for Universal.
Mm-hmm.
And
why? Universal has all the big fun stuff.
Well, because you don't have to plan things as much here, and make reservations and stuff, and don't have to time out your express passes. You can just go when you want. So,
and there's not a lot
more carefree planning.
Yeah, there's not a lot out there really for Universal, because like I said, we did a Universal trip and I tried to look for planning stuff, but it's more of a carefree park, and so there's not a lot of planning guides.
They have
it was a little breath of relief.
Mm-hmm. Food was great at the Dockside place.
Yeah.
I loved the hash browns and the Baja burrito. I had that for 2 days in a row.
That's awesome.
It was a little spicy though.
That's good to know.
So after Minion Mayhem, we went over to Rip Ride Rocket, and like before the trip, I found out like they have a secret menu selection of songs, because they play a song while you're riding on this roller coaster, and the one that's on there is like, they have like the 4 different music categories with about 4 songs each, but that they have a really long list of rides that you can do something to tap on there to access it and select a song.
What was the secret menu on rap on there?
I don't know. So, like, I had wanted to listen to Led Zeppelin's Immigrant Song for the ride, but I kind of forgot about it until after we had packed my phone and everything in the locker, so I couldn't look it up or remember how to access it. So I had to stick with, their pre-selected songs on there.
I just did Kanye West Stronger.
Yeah, and I did Give Me All Your Lovin'.
I wish we could have got our videos.
Yeah, I'm about to get to that.
$5 or something?
So, like I said, I love roller coasters, but this lift hill actually had me pretty scared. Like, the lift hill goes 90 degrees straight up.
Yes.
And, looking at it, it was like, oh, this is cool. But once I got in there, it felt like I was sliding out the back of the seat. Like, I was about to just slip right out of the seat. Like, I was actually getting for real scared and, like, trying to hold myself in, because I could feel myself sliding up the back of the seat.
I don't want to embarrass you, but can I show her what you were doing? Usually, like this. I was just, whee!
Once we reached the top, though, the rest of the ride was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And it was really cool having the music playing and the speakers right by your head. So that was a cool experience.
And I get why he was scared, because it's not like a thing that you pull down. It's just like a thing that goes across your lap. That's all that's there.
Oh, really?
So
I didn't even realize that, because I didn't ride that ride, because I saw the way it went up. I was like, nope.
Goes like this.
Oh, yeah, that's scary.
Just like a big foam lap bar. There's nothing that goes over your shoulders.
Which is good, because it looks scary, it's more extreme, and more funner.
Oh, that sounds very extreme.
Fast and long roller coasters that go upside down and stuff. But I don't like roller coasters like Raptor at Sierra Point, where it's actually upside down instead of like a normal cart. It's already upside down.
Oh, that sounds...
You're talking about the ones that you hang underneath the track?
Yeah.
And your legs dangle?
Yeah.
I don't like those.
Yeah.
I was scared, but for like my mom and Marissa, that's the first ride that they have to do anything else at Sierra Point.
So, yeah, afterwards for this one, they have ride photos and videos, and this was something that I definitely thought Disney excels in. We had the Memory Maker package at Disney, and it was great and very easy to use, just having to tap your Magic Band to link yourself to the ride. And, there was only about 2 times at Disney where we had to stop and get a few, ride photos that were missing. But, the My Universal photo was definitely not user-friendly, and Marissa had spent a long time constantly having to wait for someone to scroll and scroll and scroll to find us and get pictures linked. And there's, hardly any photographers around the park to take pictures either. So, just like the tickets and express passes, we were given a paper card with, a barcode on it or a QR code on it. So anytime we wrote a picture, she'd have to scan the QR code to get it added. And they only give you one. So, especially this day where we were split up, Tristan and I couldn't get our stuff added because we didn't have that QR code.
That's so frustrating.
We did find out later that they can print you a card with a QR code that she can then scan later to add. But it's a very difficult process, very confusing and hard. And with this ride, they had a photo and the video of the ride. but because I didn't have that QR code, and they said, "Oh, we can't give you anything to be able to add it later. You have to do it now." So it was in my opinion, it was not worth the money for the photo package at Universal.
Yeah.
I think it would have been easier to just be asking people to take pictures for us. It is nice getting the ride photos, but most of the time it was a little bit of work to just be able to get these pictures added.
Yeah. That's crazy.
So
That's really frustrating.
Photo package.
Yeah.
Because it would have been nice to keep that video just to have them laugh at me of watching me feel like I'm struggling to not fall out of the seat.
It would be easier if it cost like at least $2 or something.
Yeah. After this ride, we got a snack and then headed over to Transformers and waited about 10 minutes in the express line for this. And this was about 3:30. This ride was fun. To me, it felt almost like the Spider-Man ride. The vehicles were the exact same thing, and you move through it between screens and action sequences the same way. So it was fun. It did feel a lot like the Spider-Man. What did you think of the Transformers?
It was good. They pretty much did they did remake the Spider-Man, but in Universal Florida, so it's Transformers. And like at the end of it, you're not like going in a screen. It like shows what's that Decepticon's name?
Megatron?
Yeah, it shows Megatron like defeated, and like his the red glow turns off, and that's when you like get off.
That sounds pretty cool, especially if you're a Transformers
Well,
fan.
it's pretty much the same thing as Spider-Man.
Yeah. I'm trying to think, like, I feel like the only ride at the Universal Studios park that was the same and not changed since we've been there when I was there before is E.T. And The Mummy was brand new when we went, but it's closed for refurbishment while we were here, so we didn't get to do The Mummy.
Oh, that's frustrating because The Mummy is a good ride.
Yeah.
I wish I could have done it.
It's fun.
Yeah, it's going to be down, I think, through June. So we didn't get to do The Mummy. After that, we made our way towards the Simpsons area and met with Marissa briefly before that. Up until that point, she was just kind of walking around, staying in shady spots while Dylan was napping in the stroller. She said she got herself a crepe from Central Park Crepe, and that was very good. And she witnessed a proposal happen while she was in that area.
Oh, that's cool. So. That's fun.
So when we met, I had her come over so that she could scan, because I was not going to leave this park without getting this picture of me with the DeLorean. And I am a huge Back to the Future fan. And was very ticked when they got rid of this ride there. That was my favorite.
That was a good ride.
I was going to go grab the Boba Fett helmet. DeLorean.
So I got pictures of the DeLorean and the train. So it's just my favorite movies, and I have a huge fascination with the time machine. So
you were just wearing a Back to the Future earlier.
After that, none of us really watch or care about The Simpsons, and it just irked me that the Back to the Future ride got replaced with The Simpsons.
Yeah.
He grabbed a lightsaber.
So, but we did walk through the area, and Tristan wanted to do the Simpsons ride, so
I watched the Simpsons.
I did it with him, just mostly to see if the building or ride setup or anything had any nods to Back to the Future. It was really too long ago to like remember what the building looked like or the line or anything, but I still remembered the ride. And they have the ride available now on VR, so you can still kind of experience it if you have a VR headset.
That's cool.
But during the ride, you do find yourself in one part of it in Hill Valley with the clock tower briefly. So I was glad like they kind of threw that in as a nod.
Uh-huh.
Other than that, we didn't really care too much for the ride. It's just, another one of these 3D experience rides and everything.
Yeah.
You're on a roller coaster, but things just keep going wrong.
Yep.
It's basically The Simpsons.
I had heard it was like one of these rides that can give you motion sickness and everything, but we didn't have any issues with that.
That's good.
We did wait about 20 minutes to ride that. After that, about 4:20, we rode Men in Black Alien Attack.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of sort of remember doing this one as well. Tristan and I both had a lot of fun with that. It's
points.
Yeah, he got me on points on this one.
But not
he got me pretty good on this one.
Not Toy Story Mania or Buzz Lightyear. He demolished.
It does kind of feel like the Buzz Lightyear one, where you're just kind of going through shooting at targets and stuff.
Yeah.
They've got like aliens and everything everywhere. I guess I just was confused. Like, I'm used to there being some kind of target somewhere that you're aiming for, and there was none of that on this ride. Like, I guess you're just shooting at the aliens. I was like, where's the thing that's pulling in the signals? I think that's why he got me so good, because I didn't know where I was supposed to shoot at.
Well, at least he got a win.
After that, it was time to head back to City Walk for dinner. So we kind of just quickly headed back up the other side of the lake, grabbed the picture with the Jaws shark, and looked around as we headed back. And this was at about 5 o'clock, and we went over to Antojitos for dinner. It was definitely decorated nicely in there, all kinds of things to look at. We got sat towards the back next to the stage. For an appetizer, we ordered the tableside guac. And so they come out with like this cart with all the ingredients and everything, and right in front of you, they'll scoop out the avocados and add all the ingredients that you want to it and mix it up and mash it up right there at the table. It was very, very good guacamole.
That's fun.
Yeah. And because Marissa didn't want the onion or jalapeno in it, so she would mix it up without it and scoop some out for her, and then add the other ingredients that we wanted and finish it out and scoop it out for us. So
that's really cool.
Like custom made guac.
So it's like personalized guac.
Yeah, so that was really good. The food was really good. They had a musician come out and play guitar while we were eating and everything.
It was all in Spanish. So I couldn't really understand it. It's like a few words.
So after dinner, I really was like, oh, we didn't get everything. We missed so much. I want to go back in. I want to try to do Hagrid's again. While the rest of them were ready to call it a day and go swimming. So I was contemplating just going back in by myself. But I was like, no, our flight's the next day. I got to start getting packed. So So that was it for our Universal trip. There was a lot of stuff, we didn't get to do that I would have liked to have done. But at the same time, I felt like we did pretty good for our last day of trying to get everything else that we didn't get outside of Harry Potter.
Yeah.
It was definitely a lot to try to cram in one day. So
absolutely.
So my suggestion, if you're a first timer and you want to try to do it all, and you're going to take a large trip like we did, I wouldn't try to do too much. I would just definitely plan some rest days, and don't overthink what you're going to be capable of, because again, I'm used to walking a lot and
we're not
working long hours and everything, and it still got to me by the end. So
yes.
So I would definitely plan more rest days, because it is a lot to try to do for such a long trip.
For sure. Well, they're going to be... opening the Nintendo World part of Universal in like 2 years or 3 years, so y'all could always go back after that's done and try to do everything.
Are they doing that in Orlando? I thought it was just California.
So California opens next year, or I think Orlando's going to open in 2025.
Yeah, he'll definitely want to check out that when it's done.
Oh yeah, my boys they're ready for that.
He's both fat.
I've already been talking with Marissa, hopefully thinking about doing a Disneyland trip in a few years.
Oh yeah.
Maybe for my 40th birthday or something.
Yeah.
I was thinking like I would love to go with the kids, but I'd also love to do a trip like that with just Marissa and I.
Oh yeah, that would be so much fun.
So yeah, after Antojitos, we headed back to the resort, got our suitcases and everything packed up. We had bought so many souvenirs, and I didn't really give myself too much extra space. So I was definitely glad, like, the larger items we were able to get shipped home, but it was definitely a quite the feat to get everything packed into our luggage.
Yes.
To get back. Call it a night. Next morning we had breakfast at the hotel again. Finished packing up. The stroller, to return a stroller, was nice and easy. Like, they didn't even have to like meet with me. I could just drop it with luggage services for them to reclaim the stroller.
That's awesome.
Checkout was easy. They said it was automatic. So 11 o'clock that the transportation picked us up from the lobby. We had given them the flight information, and then they told us what time they'd come get us. And they had said 11:30, and I heard, MCO can be very, very busy and long waits. So I was nervous. Our flight was at 2:35, and, so boarding started at like 1:40, and I was like, I don't know if that's going to be enough time. So I had text, they give you the driver's phone number. So I texted the driver and asked if he could come half an hour earlier. So he said, sure, no problem. So pickup went smooth. Transportation over the airport went smooth, dropped us off. And we waited probably about 5-10 minutes to get our checked luggage through. And then the security line wasn't actually that bad when we were there. And we only waited about 10-15 minutes for security.
Oh, that's great.
So by the time we made it to our gate, we had 2 hours before our flight almost. So,
yeah.
So I was like, well, it's better to get here early than to be late.
For sure.
Flight back home went smooth, and that was the end of our trip. We got back home about 6 o'clock Friday night.
That's awesome. Y'all had an amazing vacation. That's just so great. So what was your least favorite thing about Universal?
What I said probably about the Express, and just the photo thing was probably the worst part of it. It was very difficult and not user-friendly. Mm-hmm. And again, I don't think they put enough emphasis on the Express passes. I don't know if it's just that day or our particular experience, but again, the Express passes there are a lot more expensive, so I wanted to really feel like I was getting my money out of it.
Yeah.
The walking. The walking was my least favorite, especially on the first day. We were just doing everything, but we didn't really do much because we were just walking around from park to the other park. And I'm kind of sad that we didn't do the water park there. I want to do that.
Yeah, Volcano Bay is supposed to be really fun.
I'd try to add in a water park next time too.
Mm-hmm. Well, they say that Volcano Bay at Universal is better than the Disney water parks. They have more rides, and it's bigger, so that's something to keep in mind.
I wish they were there.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of good things about Volcano Bay. So,
So what was your favorite thing about Universal?
Marvel. Marvel.
Yours was Marvel.
And Velocicoaster.
Yeah, Tristan's not as big a Harry Potter fan, but definitely Diagon Alley was my favorite. And Forbidden Journey and Hagrid's were great, but just everything Harry Potter being in the world. And I mean, they did such an amazing job recreating the store fronts and everything else from the movies and just the feel of it. So.
And I'm not a big Harry Potter person, and I thought that Snape was a bad guy because he's in Slytherin. So I was mad after I got his wand that Dad told me that he's not a bad guy. Like in the movies, if you like don't know anything about Harry Potter, just think stuff from what you see. Like, if you did that, then you'd see Snape as a bad guy. But once, like, Dad and Marissa explained it from the books and movies, he said, well, no, Snape's not a bad guy. Because
he's just a jerk.
Harry's
Yeah.
mom or something.
I know, he ends up being a
He's
good
bad
guy.
from my perspective. I was either going to get Draco's or Snape's. Service Snape. Slytherin, whatever his first name is. I wanted his
Salazar.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Salazar's Slytherin's wand, but they don't have any of the house characters' wands.
Yeah, they don't have the house founders' wands.
Oh, that's interesting.
I thought that would have been
realize
really
that.
cool to get.
Yeah. And his wand looked really cool.
Yeah, I guess I did forget to mention, like I said, we got that $300 gift card, and then by the end, we still had like $110 on it.
Oh, wow.
So we went over to, the gift shop in the lobby at the hotel to use up the rest, and I went a little overboard with the wands because I was like, I want this one, I want this one, I want this one.
We got like,
and then
they're so cool.
Our trip was bookended by my wife because it was Mother's Day the day before we left, and it was her birthday the day after we got home.
Oh, that's
So
fun.
I still need to get her a birthday present, and the whole time we were at the parks, like I wanted to get her a time turner necklace, and never saw one anywhere, but saw one at the lobby in the gift shop there.
Oh, that's nice.
So got that for her birthday.
That's fun.
Used up the rest of the gift card money, and so we ended up with getting 8 wands total.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, now I know why it was hard to pack.
only 2 stands, which I just...
Yeah, we're going to build a stand on the wall to display them all.
Oh, that'll be cool. Do y'all have anything else to say about your big, giant trip?
It seemed short, even though it was 2 weeks.
Oh, it did not seem short.
It only seems short when you get back home.
It always seems short, but this one, we were ready to come home by the end.
This was like our first actual vacation. Because the other one was just like a trip to Pennsylvania. Like, and go to some mines thing.
Well, thank you for sharing your travel tale on this show. I love talking with you. It was such a great trip. You give a lot of really good advice for people traveling, which is why I do the show, to help people plan their trips.
Oh, you're so welcome. Thank you for having me. This was great and exciting, and it'll be fun to be able to save this and years later be able to go back and re-listen to it.
Thank you so much for listening today. Make sure to check out our Instagram page at Disney Travel Tales to see lots of pictures from Josh's trip. If you want to listen to his other episodes where he talks about Disney, go back. They are episode number 44 and number 45. Make sure to subscribe to the show so you never miss a new episode. Also, if you're enjoying the show, please leave a positive review on Apple Podcast or Spotify. This is the easiest and best way to support the show. Next week, we will be back with a brand new episode. So until then, this is Jenny, and may all your Disney travel dreams become a reality.